Hi everyone, it's Jeremy. Today we're going to talk about electric scooters with the latest model from Xiaomi, the Scooter 4 Pro. This new version brings some new features with a price increase along the way, and we will therefore see if it remains interesting. I had this scooter before its official release, being a member of the Mi influencer on the Xiaomi global community. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to take a look. Let's start with the unboxing. The scooter arrives in a large box with its image on it and the various information about it. Inside, the device arrives with documentation, its charger, 5 screws, an adapter to inflate the tires, and a screwdriver adapted to it. The handlebar is the only part that needs to be reassembled, and then all you have to do is add 4 of the screws provided to hold it in place, and that's it. You just have to remove the plastic and put the scooter on charge. You can check the tire pressure while waiting and activate the device with the Mi Home app by scanning the QR code, but we'll talk about the application a little later. It is very simple to set up and does not require any special knowledge. For the design, it stays quite close to the previous model. It has an aluminum frame, touches of red on the front and rear tire, as well as the cable and the power supply cover. The first improvement is at the tire level. Here it has 10 inches tubeless tires, which are larger compared to the previous 8.5 tires, and they use the Xiaomi Duragel system, which allows the tire to repair itself in certain puncture conditions. It still has inflatable tires, and it will provide more shock absorption with this larger tire and will perhaps avoid more problems with puncture, which seems to happen quite often on previous models. In my case, I did not have any problem, but it will be confirmed or not in the long term. It's better than what we had previously, but it's not at the same level of a model equipped with suspension, obviously. For braking, there is an electronic system at the front and a system with double 130mm disc at the rear. No visible change in efficiency compared to previous model, and it works well. For the rest, it has a headlight at the front at the level of the handlebars and a light that can remain on at the level of the rear wheel, as well as several reflectors all around the scooter for safety aspect. For the closing mechanism, this is improved and requires pulling the locker located on the bottom throughout the process and will prevent the handlebar from falling into your head. The scooter is IPX4, and for the dimension, the 4 Pro has been enlarged almost everywhere compared to the Pro 2. 6 cm larger, 6.8 longer, 5.4 cm wider for the handle, and finally 1.9 cm for the plank. I personally did not have the opportunity to test the previous model, but it is always welcome to have a larger model for stability and comfort. For the screen, it displays the main information, the speed, the mode used, the remaining battery, and that's about all we ask of it. Even in direct sunlight, we can read the information, and actually while riding the scooter, I don't really have to look at it, so nothing special about this part. Press 1 to turn on the red lights and twice to change modes. Bigger dimensions and a bigger battery, which we'll talk about later, is good, but it also increases the weight of the scooter because it is now 17.5 kg, which is not the easiest to carry when there is stairs, to lift it to a car trunk, or if you plan to do part of your trip by public transport too. Depending on your ability to carry this load and your use, it may tip the balance between this one and a lighter model. On the positive side, however, it now supports a weight of up to 120 kg for the driver, and taller people will be better seated. Another improvement is made in terms of power. This one goes to 700 watt at peak and 350 in nominal power. So it is not continuously at 700, it is only at certain times to make driving more pleasant. This increase in power also allows the scooter to be able to climb slopes of up to 20%. I did not have the opportunity to test the previous model and therefore could not tell you if it is better or if you really feel it in use, but I found the acceleration good on flat ground and pleasant to use. I tried to climb slopes greater than 20%, but I finally had to turn around, but I guess my rate is not helping. As required by law, the scooter will be limited to a maximum of 25 km/h. In terms of autonomy, the scooter is equipped with a 446 Wh/h battery. The brand promises 45 km of autonomy with a full charge, but it depends on many factors: the weight of the user, the way of driving, the state of the road, whether there are slopes or not, or simply weather. I weigh a little less than 90 kg, so I'm not necessarily the type of person that the brand will take to showcase the autonomy, and in my case I was rather around 30 km, knowing that I was using it more as part of the test, so I was changing modes a lot, throttle and brake more often than someone who's just going to work with it, but that gives you an idea based on your own settings. For charging, this is done thanks to the magnetic connector and takes about 8 hours of charging time when it is completely discharged. It means that if you use it completely, you can fully charge it overnight and leave with it in the morning, which should be fine for most use. Protection also have been added to prevent overload, short circuits, temperature increase and more. You can't see it in use, but it can help preserve battery life over the long term. I also read a message on the global Xiaomi side that the range was going to be increased to 55 km thanks to an update when it will be released in August, and that this would optimize efficiency of the motor. I have not yet received this update, so I have to wait to see if it's effective, but we can count a little more kilometers than those that I had. Speaking of updating, that brings me to the Mi Home application, which allows you to activate it upon receipt and which is therefore not usable without it. I'll skip the first steps, which are done more or less automatically, until the small prevention video, and which will give you the first advice to use the scooter correctly. Once this is done, you can easily see the estimated remaining range in kilometers as well as the percentage of remaining battery. The mode used by the scooter is displayed below. Just press the scooter button twice to switch from one mode to another between pedestrian, normal and sport. The speed limit of each of these modes is 6, 20 and 25 km per hour. You can then lock the motor of the scooter to prevent theft by partially blocking the motor and beeping the scooter if someone tries to push it. You can then choose to turn on the rear light constantly or not. We then have the possibility of activating the cruise control so that after 5 seconds remaining on the same speed, the scooter continues to advance at this speed by itself. We then have information for the battery, the kilometers traveled, and finally the possibility of choosing the power of the energy recovery. It is also what allows us to have more or less braking in the descent and to recharge the battery. And that's it about the app. Now about the price, which is also an evolution compared to the previous model. The price announced in Europe is about 800 euros. If we compare it to the price of the Pro 2, which is sold at 549, it's a big increase unfortunately. So certainly there is no revolution between the two models. From afar it will probably not make the difference, but by approaching it more closely you still have a more comfortable model by its size and its tire, a little more power, which is always welcome, and the points that may make you hesitate will be its weight and size as well as its price. In my case, I don't really know what the competition offers in this price range, but if that's the case for you, don't hesitate to tell me what you think in the comment, and I'll see you in the next video.